If you're running paid traffic and your leads aren't converting the way they should, the problem isn't your ads or your offer. It's probably the first message you're sending to this lead. Most high-level users get 3 things wrong. And if your first message is broken, it affects everything downstream. We see millions of messages run through our platform, so I know exactly who's getting replies and who isn't. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's killing your reply rate and how to turn ad spend into sales conversations. Let's dive in. So why this first message decides everything is because it does one of 2 things. It decides if this is going to open a conversation or end it before it even starts. There's no middle outcome. This makes or breaks your entire process and decides if you're going to get a proper ROI on your ad spend. You have 5 seconds in that prospect's mind to decide whether they want to move forward with your process. Your prospect doesn't read the message as you wrote it. They're going to scan it and look for what is going to make them engage with your business. The whole point of this message is to get a reply. You're not trying to close the deal. You're just trying to move them to the next stage in your sales process. So the first message mistake people are making is the info dump. This is the most common mistake. This first message, it comes from a good place, right? You want to give them information. You want to help them make a decision, but it's too early inside the process. They don't trust you yet. And if you come off too strong too quickly, you're going to lose any trust that you had. This is what we see these messages look like, right? They're long. They're trying to give way too much information and context way too early in the process. When they see your ad and they opt in, they're still deciding whether they want to transact with your business. So you have to ease them into your sales process. And it's done through a series of messages. How you earn trust in a business is being consistent and over time. So make sure that your messages are consistent with your brand voice and there's multiple touches, because every single time they get an engagement from you and it's consistent, it's friendly, it reduces the sales fear, they're going to trust your brand more and more. And that's what you want. Now, if you do the info dump like this is not going to build trust in your brand. This is going to put up the sales defenses and you're just going to get people ghosting you further in the process. What businesses do is they create this wall of text, this giant brick message that no one wants to read and fully understand and figure out what they need to do next. You have to make it simple. If you confuse, you lose. You just need to take them through the process with baby steps. And so this is what a lot of first messages look like from a business. It's a wall of text, which is just too much. You don't want your prospect to try and have to figure out what they need to do next. Just ask a question. Make it simple so that you can engage with them right away. Another common mistake we see is the pitch too early. Again, you're just trying to move them to the next stage in the sales process. You're not trying to close the deal in your text conversation. So don't pitch too early. Don't be asking too much from the prospect. Ask a basic question that's easy for them to answer. The other thing that I see is people putting booking links within their first message. Guys, this isn't 2 years ago. You can't do this stuff, especially if you're using a platform like iMessage. They will actually trigger a spam filter or block the message altogether if you're including links in that first message. Again, you're not trying to look like marketing. You're trying to look like a friend. Send them a text message. Hey, you filled this out? And I want to give them a friendly response with a simple question to get them to the next step. Another thing that I see common that messes people up inside their sales process is the greeting. Now, you're going to understand your prospect and your industry better than I am, but if you're too formal or if you're sending email type messages on a platform like iMessage or even SMS, it will read completely different and you'll lose any brand trust that you've built over your previous conversations or your funnel or your ad. So make sure you don't do that. Is it referencing what they actually opted in for? Is there a bunch of context that just doesn't make sense? Like the hi there, thanks for reaching out, hope you have a great day. Like all that extra stuff you think you're being friendly, it's just not needed. Now, this one's not as big of an issue as the ones I just talked about before. But again, when you add up all these little micro changes, it'll make a huge impact. So imagine you're getting a 1% conversion rate and all of a sudden you get a 2% conversion rate. You literally just doubled your conversion rate. So all these little changes stacked on top of each other is how you improve your process, make more money, and make sure that your ad funnel is profitable and producing the ROI that you want it to. So here is the 5-message formula that we train all of our customers to use, right? Make sure you use your name. Make sure you reference your business so they know who's reaching out. Ask a question. This one is huge. And make it a simple question. And then have a casual tone, right? When you use your name in the message and you call them after, because maybe they don't reply and you want to, again, reach out to your lead, the phone will say, hey, might be so-and-so when you do that. So make sure you follow this first message framework. And if you're not, make sure you go into your first message, audit it, and change it. This stuff will help big time. Trust me. So when you're auditing your first message, make sure you follow this golden template, right? Here it is. Use your name, reference your business. Hey, I saw you were looking for a specific thing, and then ask a question that warrants a reply. That is the golden template. Make sure you follow this process. So pause this video, or right after this video, go into your automation, look at the first message you're sending, and is it following this golden template? Because if it's not, it's probably costing you real dollars every single day. Real quick, here's some simple examples of industries that this works really, really well for. A med spa, solar companies, coaching, home services, real estate, agencies, or B2B SaaS. Again, you know your prospect, so that should indicate how formal or casual you need to be. If you're reaching out to B2C, obviously you could be super casual. Now, if you're in a high trust industry, like say a financial planner, then it might make sense to be a little bit more formal inside your messaging than say a coaching offer where you're trying to help startups or other businesses, go viral or do marketing. Those type of things, you could be a little bit more casual. So you understand your business, you understand your prospect, your industry, but take these things into consideration. Take a snapshot of this and put this inside your first message in your business. So here's some rewrites that we've done, because at Project Blue, we'll actually ingest your old messages and show you some examples of what your current message is and what it should look like to get a better reply rate. And again, we're not coming up with this. We're looking at who's getting the reply rates, whose businesses are going up, and which leads are actually engaging over millions of sales messages. So this framework works. This is what the top companies are doing if they want to maximize their ad spend and lead conversion process. So we take a message like this and start sending messages like this. This is how you get a 2 to 3 times better reply rate, is changing that first message that engages with your lead. So look at some of these examples, find the industry that's closest to yours and copy something like this for your message. Here's something that we built, a quick casual cheat code that you could use, right? Saying hey instead of hello or hi, keep it lowercase within the message. Sometimes makes it look like you just pulled out your phone and sent them a message opposed to an automation tool. Not always using the proper punctuation. Again, if you're in a high trust industry or some kind of financial product, then maybe it makes sense to do that. But if you're in more of a sales process, B2C, quick and casual, this stuff works to just get better reply rates. And we've tested, 1,000 messages using the old school format versus 1,000 not on the same channel. And this stuff makes a huge difference. So here's some 5 principles you need to remember. This first message is not for selling. Always ask a question. It's way better than making a statement. Have specific trust signals in your message to not spook your prospect. If it looks like a paragraph, it's not going to get read. Is this something simple or easy to scan? And your goal is to get a reply, not just land inside their inbox. So the next step, if you need help with this process, there's a link in the description. You can audit your first message. This tool will just you pop in the first message, it'll spit out what it needs to look like, or schedule a quick 15-minute demo. We'll tell you right away what you might be doing wrong and what channel or what you could change to get a better ROI from your ads. Hope this was helpful. We'll see you on the next one.